Today on the show, I'm excited to talk about the reasons I think people who have invested in XRP will get a big reward for their faith. When we think back to 2021, it's clear that XRP did not have a boom like many other cryptocurrencies did. A big part of this was because it was against the law. On the other hand, I'm beginning to think that these legal problems are more of a trap, maybe meant to keep regular people like us from getting involved in the first place, which makes perfect sense given the digital future that we are moving toward. I think XRP is a very interesting coin. It looks like you've come to the right place to find out about the latest XRP news. One last thing I'd like to ask you before we talk about the great news for today. Please show us some love if you like what we've done. If you click the like button, sign up for our channel, and press the notification bell button, you can join our great group. Now for some good news. We're about to because we're getting close to 60,000 members. Give away a lot of XRP. The process of joining is very easy. There are only 3 steps to follow. Find out as soon as possible more about this. You should not miss this chance. Make sure that the word money side is in your thoughts and notes if you want to be entered into the prize drawing. Everyone knows that the next few years will be very important for digitization, and that almost everything will be written on computers. Changing over to a tokenized form, reading the most important XRP documents, like its white paper, shows that the cryptocurrency's main goal is to make it easier to buy and sell things, not just money. In a world where tokenization is quickly spreading, when thinking about how XRP could be built to handle the trade of tokens and money based on assets, it's interesting to think about what could be done. The answer depends on how well it works. It is a lot easier to do things when they are but it's also possible that XRP will combine forces with to make it easier to send money and digital assets. Stellar was created. It could be thought of as XRP's less interesting sister. Let's look at how XRP affects liquidity to better understand why it might change the way money is sent. For instance, the current method needs twice as much money to make a transfer from one bank in Japan to another bank in the United States. For this situation, XRP is very important. It could change the way things are done by making a lot of money available. They make foreign money transfers possible. I'm going to talk about how XRP might affect the foreign exchange market, FX market, and how liquid the market is this time. Imagine for a moment that a token like XRP released a lot of liquidity, which made it possible to make deals almost instantly. It's possible that this new idea could make a market work much better. A lot of banking institutions have teamed up with Ripple because of how fast it works. No matter what, it hasn't quite reached the point where it is used in places like hospitals. Allow me to show you an example to help you understand this. In order for the Bank of Mitsubishi in Tokyo to send 100 million yen to its office in New York and then change it into dollars, they would normally need the same amount of money in both currencies at both sites. This would cause $200 million to be held up. In that case, this deal could have something to do with a coin like XRP. There are important consequences. The fact that Ripple might decide to go public is another interesting development. Things like this should be thought about. It still needs to get permission from the SEC to make this choice. It's a big step forward that Ripple won the case where Judge Torres said it wasn't a security. This is a very important change. Even though it's not something we talk about very often on the show, I've been buying an XRP for a while now. When we were together, XRP and I had a hard time during the most recent rising market. I was able to get better returns on other investments. The case, on the other hand, made XRP's success much less likely. I also think it's interesting that the XRP community sometimes shows such strong emotion that it almost looks like a devotee group. I've been too excited about projects in the past, and XRP was the same way. One big reason I don't like taking risks is the thought that some of my fans may have invested money because of my excitement and then lost it. On the other hand, new fundamental analysis shows that XRP may be about to experience another surge like the one it had in 2017. It looks like things are set up in a way that is similar to how they were before the 2017 surge. A lot has been said on the show about the Hunt volatility funnel method, which is also known as the HVF. Francis Hunt's appearance as a guest has given us a lot of useful information. His prediction is that XRP will go up in value to $116, which is a big jump from where it is now, which is around $60. Experts say that this prediction could be right, which could be great news for buyers. The reason the point of the movie we're showing today is to bring attention to what I see as a big chance with XRP. There is a strong reason to think that people who have invested in XRP will soon make a lot of money. This may sound like an old story, but it's true. In this case, the most important thing to think about is XRP's technical structure, which seems to be going in the same direction that led to its huge gain in 2017. However, the fact that XRP didn't reach any new highs in 2021 is actually a good sign for the cryptocurrency, setting the stage for a possible spike like the one that took place in 2017. As someone who owns I agree with Francis Hunt's optimistic forecasts. I've been looking at how he solves problems for a year now. It's hard to ignore the connections between the trends that happened before 2017 and the ones that are happening now. The fact that XRP could hit $16 is a strong sign that something important is about to happen. Many things could cause this to change, including the chance that Ripple will go public or the possibility that the fact that they just bought back their own stock shows that they are sure of their plan. I think you should add XRP to your portfolio, especially since businesses need cash quickly these days. Lots of people who own XRP have been very frustrated, and I want to recognize that. I also think the same thing. I do think, though, that the time we've been waiting for is almost over. The long-awaited run of XRP, which could have a huge impact on both its value and where it stands in the market for cryptocurrencies, is about to start. What I want to talk about is the idea that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, might have been trying to keep regular people from investing in XRP because they were told to by higher ups in the company. It's crazy that more and more banks are working with Ripple even though they were being sued not long ago. There is proof of how strong and useful XRP is that these financial institutions did not back down when they were sued. The truth, one thing that makes XRP different from other cryptocurrencies is that it is not a hedge fund. It is one of the few cryptocurrencies that is very clear about how the law treats it. After this happens, it's possible that XRP will be able to get a bigger share of the coin market as a whole. There are technical signs that point to this happening. Ripple has made a number of predictions and comments that the year 2024 will be very important for both the company and the cryptocurrency, XRP. Way that these promises are actually met will be very interesting to see. Keeping this in mind is important for keeping a fair view. Putting all of your money into XRP is not something I would recommend. It was found by many people who bought XRP in 2021 that diversity